Okay, second time's a charm. So I'm doing a playthrough of the Convergence mod of Dark Souls 3, and I'm going to be doing a run as...
Yet eat.
Oh, apologies, that was a weird glitch there.
It is called Lothric.
I don't need any of this. Let me get out of the web browser. And okay. So, okay, male character is fine. For the class, I was considering Dark Priest because of its awesome weapon, or the Warlock because of its better stat spread for what I want. Or the Cryomancer. Basically, I want to make a dark build. See, Druid has 14-14, Blood Priest has 14-16, Druid has 8 strength, 2 dexterity, Cryomancer 16-16, only level 7. You know what, let's go with the Cryomancer. For his face presets, let's go to appearance, let's load our favorites. I like this, the Northern Warrior, slightly derpy looking character with the long purple ponytail. I think that looks good. For the burial gift, I want to go with the alchemy reagents, and for the name, I like the... Personally, when I saw the Druid, it made me want to go into this whole Celtic theme, so why don't we name this guy Nodens, who is the Celtic sea god. Or rather, a Celtic sea god. Different Celtic cultures had different names for the same deity, and some of them even worship different deities. So I think it would make more sense to say that he is a Celtic sea god, and not the Celtic sea god. Anyway, let's finalize creation, and let's see where this goes. I have a feeling that this is going to go quite well with his stat spread. Only thing that's going to suck is his, weapon output, but I should be able to make that work. Oh, excuse me, phone call. Apologies if I gave anyone vertigo. I was checking something on my web browser. So anyway, let's see, where's the rest of the world? Ah, here it is. Okay, connection is still green, that's good. So, might as well show off everything that this class has. You start out with the Northern Savages set. An elegant padded robe worn by cryomancers of northern realms. Their bodies often match their environment, as cryomancy makes one frigid to the touch. The origins of cryomancy are debated. Some can use such a thing without a taint of dark, as even the abyss can be changed for good. Reduces the cost of conjurations by 4%. That's what this entire set does. Basically, the legwear, wristwear, and headwear reduce it by, I think, 2%? Yeah, and the chest piece by 4. You also start with the Deep Ring, which increases your dark damage. Children of Velka, which is the Dark Covenant. You get items from it, and I believe it increases your... Oh, whoops, I removed it. It increases your casting speed, which is good. And you also start out with the Dark Flame and the Earthel Dagger, which is a good weapon in my opinion. So So with the Dark Flame, you get an ability called... You can use magic, such as Dark Flare. And with the Earthfell Dagger, it's a Dark Element Ice Dagger. And that attack I did where I stabbed him with it. This attack here, where you draw it back, stab, and it does this whole plume of ice, that's its weapon art. Cool beans. Anyway, that body there had concussive burns, which I might as well show off. You throw them at the ground, and it creates a shockwave. I'll show it on some of these enemies in a moment. Here, let's put it on here. The reason why I'm leaving the space open is because one of the items I will find is going to be automatically equipped onto this guy. One thing I love about cryomancies is just, like, the starting magic that you have being a... Starting magic that you have isn't very powerful, but it is basically a high-speed, high-range Dark Explosion, which is moderately powerful. As you see here, it kills the enemies in 3 hits. I believe there's one here that's like a berserker with an axe. Ah, there he is. Might as well show off the other magic while I'm here. It's called Ice Burst. Slam that into the ground, and it creates like a giant icy shockwave if I can hit the guy. But yeah, as you can see there, originally this area was the Cemetery of Ash, now it is the Cemetery of Flame. And whereas before, these Lothric priests had normal weapons, now they have flaming weapons, which is fitting for the area, I'll say that much. And the reason why the Cryomancer has access to ice magic and dark magic is because the black flame functions like a normal flame. And that body had the Ashen Estus, which I can use to recover my blue bar. I'm not going to use it right this moment. You know what? Screw it. I'll use it now, because I'm going to light the bonfire and rest at it anyway to regain my health. So yeah, resting at the bonfire resets the enemies, but it also heals you completely. And I can also level up at the bonfire, but I won't at this moment. Instead, I will just take this guy out. And yeah, when it talks about the description of cryomancies as a magic, basically the ice magic, when you hit the enemy with it enough times, it'll cause a status ailment called frostbite. Oh my, that was loud. It's considering the fact that I have the media coming from the games set to a lower level than it typically is. But yeah, one good thing about this magic, or rather with the dagger, is that with its weapon art, I can basically knock smaller enemies over. With the frost plume, it has a good reach. I as well show off the concussive urns. You can craft them using alchemy. You throw them at an enemy, and they explode, creating a massive shockwave. Doesn't really cause that much in as far as damage is concerned, but it is good if you want to knock enemies over. And with these Lothric priests, just take them out. Managed to knock that one off the cliff. On that body, I have magic urns, which are similar to the concussive urns, except when you throw them, they just explode into a burst of magic. Nothing really all that crazy. Here we go. Down go those Lothric priests. And I might as well rest up at the bonfire again, because I took a bit of a damage dealing with the priests. There is a different job that I also prefer. It's another dark class. It's the dark, or rather, not dark priest, but the blood priest. And his whole shtick, or rather their whole shtick, since you can be of either gender in this game, the whole shtick of the dark priest is that you use blood magic that can do damage to enemies and also heal you. Here, might as well go to the audio output, lower it a little bit more, because the main boss of this area is loud. Meet the Watchdog of the Firelink. He replaces Udex Gundyr as the starting boss of this area. Anyway. So, utilizing my cocktail of dark magic, I can pretty effectively freeze this guy and reset the frost I do. Ow. He hit me there. Don't worry if the boss hits you, just heal and then rinse and repeat. Here we go. Oof. Okay, gonna heal, generate some distance. When he does that attack, make sure that you roll around him, as you don't want to get chomped on. When he does that attack, he grabs you, flings you in the air like a dog playing with a toy, and just deals a ton of damage. I rolled there, but it didn't click. It didn't register. Marvelous. Not the end of the world. Frost Orb, I feel, is the better cryomancy to have. It's like Fire Orb, but you throw basically a chunk of ice at people. It's useful in most situations. Lion's Fury is a Lion's Fury is a good weapon. It's a sword and shield weapon hybrid. Earth Missile is a geomancy. You basically lob a chunk of earth at enemies. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just take a shortcut over to where the Watchdog is. Just going to run past everything over here. And I'm going to enter the boss arena. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to swap these for the magic urns, because the boss here is actually susceptible to magic. 145 damage, not amazing, but not horrible either. I'm going to back up and get my souls if I can find out where they are. There it is. When you get very far away from the boss, he will try to run into you, but an easy way to dodge that attack is to either strafe or roll to the side. Yeah, this guy's really big and really tough, but again, as long as you just move out of the way and manage your spacing properly, he won't give you much trouble. Let's see if I can do some decent damage up close with the weapon out here, and I can. The Flames weapon art is pretty good for resetting Frostbite if you're at close range. But yeah, with this guy, I plan on experimenting with all different kinds of magic. So Cryomancer is going to be the best bet for that. Going to light a bonfire here, and then I'm going to make my way to Firelink Shrine. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to mess with some of these gestures that I have. Not going to need point down. I will put Joy in the first spot, and let's put rest in place of points up, and let's put it like that, because right past this gate, past a few enemies, you will find what is, through all accounts, the most broken weapon in the game. So, let's go over there and try to find it. Take out those losers. Go over here. Take out more of these losers. Another good thing about the Cryomancer is that it starts out with enough attunement to cast 3 spells, which will come in a lot of handy, because I'm going to get a Pyro... Well, technically they broke it up into a Geomancy. Some difference as far as I'm concerned. And over here is literally the most broken weapon in the game. A straight sword that's broken in half. Oh, that makes me chuckle every time. Don't bother using it as a weapon, though. It's worse than using a dagger. And one good thing about this weapon is that even though it has strong affinity with dark, it has moderate physical affinity, which strong is, I believe, 100% scaling, moderate is 60, and weak is 40. For most weapons, anyway. Some of them have different numbers. It would be good for me to go around here and try to get a shield. This body has a shield, although it's awful. It's the plank shield. It's literally just a shield made from cobbled together pieces of wood. Not very useful as a shield in the slightest. Okay. There we go. Ember. And one good thing about Dark Flame is that using it on the guard dogs here causes them to ride around in agony. Disturbing as that may be. Honestly, that is very disturbing. We're still an unknown traveler and an ember. Always good. And not down there, but down here is the other side of the shrine, and there is yet another ember. Marvelous. The good thing about the Convergence mod is that a lot of the armor that was added to the game increases your stats, which I'm going to utilize here. There's a gentleman here, Half-Light, who teaches you lightning sorceries.
Hail to you, Ashen One. 'Tis good to see you. Come, we have much to discuss.
He's the Pilgrim of Uasil. He sells lightning sorceries. It's tempting to try them out, but right now I'm just interested in this armor because it increases my strength, dexterity, and intelligence by 2. I'm also interested in the staff.
There is much to do, my friend.
The reason why I want this is because I wouldn't mind getting a practical weapon, and with this it increases my strength and dexterity to 10. So, with 10 strength and 10 dexterity, I will be able to use one of the standard straight swords. We'll have to increase it further if I want to use other weapons, but for right now, it's the best that I have.
To make thine acquaintance, Ashen One.
This crone is shrine handmade.
I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler.
There we go. Just wanted to do that, so...
I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away.
I can grab onto it properly.
Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
Okay, there we go. I clicked on the border so that way I didn't accidentally hit her. Since she's undead, if you hit her, or God forbid kill her, she'll immediately resuscitate and be mildly pissed off. I don't know if that reflects negatively on any of the stuff that she sells. But anyway, with 10 strength and 10 dexterity, I can utilize this weapon, the longsword. It's your standard straight sword. Other weapons I could try using could include the falchion if I increase my dexterity slightly, or the hand axe. I'm gonna go with the longsword. It's a good weapon.
Ashen one.
She's all like, Ashen One, be sure to bring more souls, and she giggles maniacally, which I find hilarious. Over here we have Carla.
Ah, there you are.
She teaches dark sorceries, my mistake.
Now, what shall we do? The only thing that might interest you is my sorcery. Although my dark arts are a detestable sort. That wouldn't interest you, would it?
Oh, indeed it would.
You're a wicked one, aren't you? Very well. Humans are of the dark, and you are no different. Some may avert their eyes, but the truth remains the truth. Be careful, though. Few humans are privy to this knowledge. Let it be a secret, kept between you and I.
She can teach us dark sorceries. The only one I'd really be interested in is Dark Affliction. It causes damage over time, but even then, not really. There are other magics that can do the same thing. For example, this guy, he teaches you cryomancies. The ones he sells here, the only one I'm really interested in would probably be Frost Orb. This gentleman here teaches Druid magics. Which are called, well, they're called conjurations, but that's just the general magic that all pyromancies are in. So as far as magic conjurations are concerned, the only one I'm really interested in is Summon Hound. Armor that he sells is pretty decent. The good thing about conjurations is that you can cast them with any conjuration catalyst.
Yes, you best me off.
So yeah, with conjurations, any conjuration can be cast with any conjuration catalyst. Best example is the Dark Flame. It says Conjuration Flame. That means it can be used to cast any conjurations. The cryomancies that I have, the geomancies that I'm going to learn, or pyromancies can all be cast with conjurations. But only conjurations can be cast like that. Let's go with this, and that'll be it. Let's also talk to this guy too.
There you are, and I am pleased to have a pupil as dedicated as you.
If we talk to him...
To learn pyromancies, you must vow to become my pupil. I know, but such as an pyroman... Do not pick up, what is it?
Anyway, let's talk to him again.
There I am.
Oh, he's not doing his thing. Well, usually Cornix can give you a... Usually he gives you a smoldering... Oh wait, now I know why he doesn't do it. I think it's because he considers the Dark Flame to be a normal pyromancy flame. So, as such, he just treats me like a normal pyromancer. These magic teachers also give you the different covenants for their groups. Here's Arena of Kareem. She's a priestess with PTSD.
Oh, Champion of Ash. Welcome back. I was not meant to be a firekeeper, but but I am honored to serve you beside the bonfire. The gods are ever merciful. My gratitude lies with them and with you. I am yours now. Your wish is my command.
That sounds weird. But, anyway. Could also get the wave of light from her. She sells physical miracles, like Force, which is pretty good, Heal Aid, which is okay, Divine Appraisal is a new miracle they added in the mod. It's, I think it strengthens your shield, and if an enemy hits it, it sends out a shockwave. Nothing too crazy. Force, however, is a pretty useful miracle, but I'm not going to use miracles at the moment.
Oh, please, come back in good time. I am frightened of the...
Yeah, that sounds weird. Poor thing, she's, apparently her self-doubt manifested as little creatures of the dark that bite her. Like gnawing insects, as freaky as that is. Well, anyway, I'm going to get this ring up here, and I might as well just make my way to the High Wall of Lothric. Bit of a lag there, apologies. But, anyway, we go up here. We get this covenant that is called the Unkindled Warriors. Half-Light and the Serpent Man that was standing next to him also have their own covenants. Pledge oneself to the Unkindled Warriors. It lets you do more physical damage, and you can get upgrade materials. Both of... Oh, this reduces the FP cast of conjurations. I might go with this for a bit. Enables a collection of smoldering stones from enemies. Did I... Oh yeah, I found a smoldering stone off of the corpse of one of those priests. It's an upgrade material that's used for fire enhanced weapons and also for fire catalysts. Sadly, the catalysts can only be upgraded with the same material as their element. So even though this dark flame is a pyromancy flame, it can only be infused with dark materials. There's a crystal wizard here, but I'm going to ignore him. He drops infused titanite, and that's not really all that important. Just going to... Damn it. I ran into him and fell off the cliff. Should have smacked him with some dark magic just to get his attention. Well, this is awkward. Oh my. Yeah, sometimes when you respawn, the graphics on your pants look off. You know what, screw it. I have a dark character that I already made, and I'm gonna try this again as him. A dark character that I honestly prefer, all things considered. A character known as, a job class known as the Dark Priest. Let's do this as him, shall we? Problem with the Dark Priest, he doesn't start out with all that much intelligence. Slightly less intelligence than Faith, but still usable. Still good. Starting in offline mode, that's excellent. So... I believe this is him. Yeah, that's him. So, let's load game. Let's load it as him. Don't quite remember if this is immediately after starting or if this is after fighting the first boss, but I think it's the first boss of the game. Okay, yeah, this is just after the starting point. So, Blood Priest, my favorite job in the game, to be honest. Oh wait, no it isn't. I have the Covetous Silver Ring and everything, so I already killed the boss here. Did I get anything with his soul, I wonder? No, I didn't get anything with his soul. I think I just immediately popped it. Yeah, I immediately popped the boss's soul upon getting it. And I also got a pyromancy flame. Well, excellent. Anyway, might as well show what this guy can do to the boss. Let's take a look at the stats. The stats are the same as base. You know what? This is perfect. This is effectively what starting as a blood priest is like. For whatever reason, it decided to spit me out the starting area, but that's actually perfect. Because then I can effectively start this over with him. His weapon, I feel, is better than the Pyromancer's starting weapon. And he starts out with blood magic, mainly in the form of Bite and Gnaw. Bite sends out a quick attack like this. Gnaw sends out a slower attack that's a bit stronger. And one thing that you may notice when it comes to using dark magic is that it uses a small amount of health to attack an enemy with. Which isn't all that bad because the weapon art for the bow is a heal. So as long as I intersperse my attacks with healing, I'll be fine. It's a good thing about dark classes in general, like, again, because he has a balanced spread of intelligence and faith, he can basically utilize just about any magic that the game throws at him. I already got all the items here, so... and everything, so I'll just lump all of this together as the first part that I'm going to upload on YouTube. Since this guy starts out, I already start out in the base area, I think the only no, I didn't even kill the crystal lizard yet, so that's excellent. Okay, just gonna keep on gnawing these guys to death. And one excellent thing about the Blood Priest, in my opinion, is his starting weapon. He starts out with a Dark Corvian Blade, which is... Corvian Blade is its own weapon, and it is infused with Dark. Its weapon art is Corvian Stance. Basically, you go into stance, and you basically turn invisible for a moment. Heavy attack lets you do that jumping stab, and the light attack teleports you in front of the enemy, and you do a swipe. Pretty damn useful if you ask me. So, it's also good if you want to get out of the range of enemy attacks, which I showed there horribly. But yeah, Corvian Strike is good if you want to get out of the range of enemy attacks. And one good thing about my dark magic was I was pushing this guy into the wall. So as a result, he was continuously getting hit by the fire. Anyway, with these Lothric priests here, just bleed them out. Sometimes the ragdoll physics work in weird ways, apologies, and the enemies as a result tumble and spin as they hit the floor, which is priceless. I always like to imagine the song Spin Me Like a Record playing whenever that happens. Oh, now I remember why it spat me back out here. I, was going to refight the boss. Well then, might as well rest at this bonfire. Sprint past all the enemies, and make my way to the boss. Thankfully, since this guy utilizes dark magic, with it, the starting boss being susceptible to both dark and bleed, the Blood Priest will make the Watchdog of Firelink into his little plaything in no time fast. I don't know if it's because of my controller or if it's because of the game lagging a bit because of OBS, but sometimes it doesn't pick up my movements all that well. Anyway. You can easily just run past these guys if you don't want to deal with them. Easy way to do that is to just dash around the flames so that when you catch their attention, they'll just run into the flame and take chip damage, but more importantly, they will be stunned. And yes, you can see here, utilizing dark magic with that now. Following Watchdog. It does good damage. Even the faster, not as powerful Gnaw deals moderate damage. Again, when he does that dash attack, just roll around him. He does these bites, roll around them. Heal every now and then. He's going to do the Fire Breath attack. Just roll out of the range of the Fire Breath. Basically, the way the Watchdog attacks is all of his attacks are basically in a straight line from where he is. So as long as you dodge or strafe at an angle, you'll be fine. One more hit of bleed, and that does it. Air of the Fire destroyed, Soul of the Watchdog acquired. I don't get my Ember back because I already had it. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to try to go through the starting section of the High Wall of Lothric, but before I do that, I might as well show you where the Covetous Silver Serpent ring is. One way I'll do that with a little bit of movie magic is by muting the audio capture. If I can do so for just a moment, and I'm going to put this on my end card. Back to the live scene. Turn this on. And anyway, the path that I took from the crow's nest leads me to this little nook. On this nook, there is a body, and on that body, you will find the Covetous Silver Serpent ring. Very useful ring, in my opinion. It increases the amount of souls, which is the local currency, as morbid as that is. Anyway, let's go and... Did I get the magic that I want for this? Yes, I did. I got both instances of it. While I'm here, might as well talk to this guy. Bloodwith.
If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse.
He's a Wraith King.
This sad cadaver.
He has no legs, but he allows us to transpose weapons. Very, very much useful. With the Soul of the Watchdog, I could get the Pontiff's Right Eye Ring, and I could also get the Fire Breath Conjuration. Could go with Fire Breath, as it will come in handy in the later areas.
Now.
This guy over here is Grey Rat.
Hello, you're back, and
He's a thief.
Well, whatever trinket you need.
He sells weapons.
Just don't ask me.
In this mod, they changed up his quest line. He does, in the vanilla, he would go around different parts of the kingdom, scavenge for shit, and then sell you whatever it is he finds. What's in this mod, however, he starts out fully stocked, which is very useful. But yeah, one thing I like about the Blood Priest is that you start out with 12 strength and 12 dex, allowing you to
Goodbye. Oh, this
utilize a pretty good spread of weapons and spells right off the bat. One thing I'm going to get from him is the Thieves Mask. In this game, armor has buffs, and Thieves Mask reduces the range through which enemies can see you, while also increasing your item discovery chance, which is awesome. And now I'm going to head over to the High Wall of Lothric. Can I reach out the Firekeeper? I don't think I did.
Ashen produced the
yes, I did.
coiled sword at the bonfire.
That's a reference to the vanilla game.
The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the lords. To Lothric.
Well, I don't need to level up, so...
Made of...
Anyway, with the Firekeeper, the reason why she says produce the coiled sword to light the bonfire is because in vanilla, when you first enter the shrine, this bonfire here in the central hearth of the shrine is dead. It's been snuffed out. So you take the coiled sword that normally is embedded in all of the bonfires. You find that by beating the tutorial boss, and upon reaching the shrine, you literally pull out the coiled sword and stick it into the ground, which is very useful. Now then, for the High Wall of Lothric, I'm going to try out some different magic for this place. I'm going to go with Dark Flame and Poison Mist. Dark Flame is Dark Pyromancy, and Poison Mist is Geomancy, which are both very useful, especially for an enemy that I will find soon enough. Because Poison Mist will cause the enemies to have a passive poison buildup. And since I have a weapon on that, or not a weapon, but armor, that prevents the enemies from noticing me when I'm at a further distance, I can poison the enemy, move back a safe distance, and the enemies will have, like, rapid fire amnesia, completely forget about my presence, go back to moving around their scripted path, while the poison slowly eats away at them. It's honestly insanely broken, and I love it. Forewarned Sentries is an excellent covenant because it sells you ice magic and ice-themed gear, which is awesome. The Abyssal Flame is pretty cool. It's a stronger Cryomancy Flame. Only negative about it, in my opinion, is that when you equip it, it makes like an audible, high-pitched hum, and I personally think it sounds awful. Like, beyond annoying. So anyway, with these guys, the people standing here are marksmen, and my preferred way of dealing them is to just knock them over, and then slowly take them out. So yeah, they're marksmen, so they're going to try to shoot at me. Thankfully, I'm at the exact best distance to move away right as they fire. Here we have some bloodstained coins. Those are used for an assassin-themed covenant. Might as well show off Poison Mist. You take a deep breath, cough your COVID stank all over the enemies, and they slowly die. It's very useful if you want to take out powerful enemies without them noticing you immediately. It's also very good if you want to farm. So now we just play the waiting game. And yeah, with the covenants that I found, like for example the Kindled Warriors, with some enemies, once I kill them, they can drop equipment. Well, I mean, in the case of the Kindled Warriors, they don't drop equipment as much as they drop upgrade material. which is not the case at the current moment, but it very well may be the case. There's the archer, but thankfully his bolts only travel in a straight line, and since I'm since I'm moving in a curved fashion, and since, let's just say for the sake of transparency, for the sake of roleplay, let's just pretend that my blood priest is bi. His straightness has no effect on my biness. Black firebombs, useful. Club, also useful. It's a hammer. Going to take out these supplicating hollows. More than anything, I just take these hollows out because they're a cheap source of resources. Look at that one, they're still alive. Indeed he is. And yeah, Corvian Great Blade, one of my favorite weapons in the game. Some more alchemy reagents. Those always come in handy. It's going to be risky to do this when I don't have the bonfire lit, but I will antagonize the enemies here. Starting with that Lothric Knight. He has a spear that also has an enchanted war banner, and whenever he uses the enchanted war banner, it increases the attack, or rather the damaging capabilities of all of those soldiers there, which is very useful. Thankfully, these guys haven't noticed my presence because of the Thieves Mask. So, as such, I can use this as a golden opportunity to just continue to pepper them with dark magic. Marvelous, marvelous. Oh no, the guard dog noticed me. Yeah, sadly the guard dogs notice your shit rather quickly and they just sprint over to where you are. I'm gonna try using these black firebombs on these guys. Does good damage. Firebombs in this game, and all throwing weapons in this game, scale... In vanilla, it's scaled mainly with your strength stat and your dexterity stat, because, you know, it takes strength and dexterity to have good enough aim to throw a weapon. Like, it takes dexterity to aim and strength to throw. But in this game, it all scales with luck. They even have a class that deals... Well, a class that's dedicated to the luck stat. Which is the Alchemist. The Alchemist's gear and their covenant will be found later on in this area anyway. Well, let's see if the poison mist hit the guy that I was looking for, which is that Berserker, and I don't think it did. The Berserkers are quite deadly. They will immediately try to slam you with a hammer. I mean, I'm sorry, not with a hammer. With a gigantic axe. There we go. One good thing about the Corvian Great Blade is that it has a native bleed. He really just killed me in one hit. Not the end of the world, I'll just try this all again, hopefully with less fail. Ice Rush is pretty decent. I'm honestly not a fan of it. Its range is horrible. It only travels like in a 3-foot... It only travels in like a 3-foot path in front of you, and that really is not good. There are other ranged magics that function much better than that, in my opinion. And when it comes to dark characters, if it's a dark priest, I usually name them Damien, in honor of Saint Damien the Flagellant. I thought it would be fitting to name a blood-themed character after a saint who is famous for shedding his own blood. I thought that would have been fitting. A bit of like a poetic attribution there. Yeah, anyway. Let's check out the marksman. He's still alive. What you can guard against enemies with your weapon. Depending on how well it works is a different story. You know what? If I'm going to be using this as My main weapon, I might as well have the flame on my main hand, since I'm only going to be using it as a weapon. And yeah, as you can see, Black Flame does good damage against the Lothric Knights. There's a good mix of poise damage and damage, and it is quite useful. Lothric Priest again, let's take him out. There we go. And yeah, my favorite setup for this is to have the bell on my offhand, so I can constantly pop the weapon art whenever I need cheap healing. Okay, there's the Spearman. Call this guy Spearman, even though the weapon he uses is referred to as a different name than your standard spear. It is a halberd, but a halberd is a kind of spear, so I still think that calling these guys Spearmen is a applicable name for them. Anyway, he's going to immediately not know where I am and leave, at which point I can pepper him with more dark magic. Long live the dark arts! Okay, now let's do a plunging attack. When you fall an attack, that's what the game calls a plunging attack. You do higher damage to the enemies, because you're smacking them from above, so it's the epitome of them having their guard down. Going to take out these soldiers. And yeah, with this mod, a lot of the weapons were changed around. Like that club, for example, was originally in, like, this watchtower, which is home to a dragon who constantly tries to spew fire at you. For right now, I'm going to pop this singular ember I have. Embers aren't all that uncommon, you can farm normal enemies for them. Let's just go with this, and let's go with the Druid's Garb. Do I have any more pieces of the Druid set? Yes, I have their wraps. This works. I personally like the aesthetic of the Druid set. The brown, gold, and green fit perfectly. The only negative about the Druid set is that it covers the flowy part of the veil that I have on, making it look like my guy's only wearing a hood. Such is the nature of fashion. Anyway, what I recommend you do is with these marksmen, guard, take one out. As you get close, the others will run away. And while some may hit you, the majority of them won't. You bastard. Well, anyway, to deal with these supplicating Lothric soldiers, I say the best course of action, is euthanasia. Having the poison slowly ebb away at their life from the inside out. Huh. Poison's very nice, that's cool. Titanite Shard, excellent, and the Threaded Falchion. Pretty cool weapon in my opinion. The Threaded Falchion is a threaded sword. I don't have enough dexterity to use it at the moment, but I will soon enough. I just want to show you its moveset. Light attacks are the same as any normal curved sword, but its heavy attack allows you to break the sword apart and whip people with the pieces of it. Very cathartic, but I do prefer this weapon. There's some stuff down here, but there is a shortcut that will connect me to this area later on. So, I'll wait until I reach the shortcut to get all that crap. Now then, we just take... Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. Let the power of Christ compel thee. As you can see, though, Poison Mist is broken. And in Vanilla, you had to wait until getting a Pyromancy Tome to get access to it. But in this mod, you have access to it right off the bat, and it is beyond broken for these passive enemies that don't move. Speaking of passive enemies, over there is a Londor Pilgrim. My advice to you, ignore them. They pose absolutely no threat to you whatsoever. So why pose a threat to them? And by no threat to you whatsoever, apologies for this, good sir, but this is for the purposes of science. If you were to strike them, they do not react in the slightest, which honestly is a bit depressing. But they're so enraptured in their religious pilgrimage that they didn't even notice somebody smacked them across the face. Well, anyway, there are hollows in this room. There's one behind this wall here. Hopefully I can get him with my poison. One day, God willing, he is standing there. He is standing right past that, well, he's right there. He's standing right behind that wall. Wonderful thing about poison, it deals constant damage. More Titanite shards, which is good. Since I have a sufficient spread of Titanite shards, I'm going to switch back to my Dark Covenant. Reduced casting time is always good. And I also got a Murky Sediment from that enemy. That's the Covenant item. Marvelous. I don't want to open up this box, but I will show you that if the chain curves in a way that the end of it points towards you, kind of like an inverted S, that means that it's a mimic. Also, if you look very closely at it, let's see. You will see that the top of the chest is opening and closing slightly because the mimic is breathing. Easy way to deal with mimics. If you have Poison Mist, just poison them. Game is starting to lag exponentially, so I'm going to cut the video off here. And I hope, if anyone is watching this, that you all have a good day. Until then, well, this is going to be the end of the video. Ta-ta! That was weird. I think that was because I was accidentally using the touchpad here. But anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. Show the end card.